introducing the show Living as a Modern Day Indigenous Soul. Part 4, How I and We May Live as a Modern Day Indigenous Soul. These photos that represent the living relationship that shows me and shows you, I hope, how through 3 mediums of fire and smoke and the boundaries between the physical and the non-physical, the visible and the non-visible worlds are in collaboration, and how they begin to work together behind all things of life. These photographs are not manipulated, they are not photoshopped, they are not touched. They are taken with an everyday iPhone type of a camera, digital, simple, point and shoot digital cameras. I want you to think about, as you look at these various photos in this show, is this is something we normally do not see. It's not as if the image of a woman emerges, or the image of a healer of good medicine emerges and lifts up this person. It's not like this image is there in visual form for a matter of a minute or so we can see it and take a picture of it. This is part of the living proof that has assisted me, and I hope it begins to assist you into knowing this living relationship, this collaborative partnership that exists between the visible and the non-visible, between the human visible and the human non-visible, and the non-human visible and the non-human visible worlds. On how our thoughts, our petitions, our intentions really do manifest relationships. Relationships that are in harmony, that are in wholeness, relationships that represent potential and possibilities to bring out the best within the individual, to bring out the best within the environment, to bring out the best within animals, within trees, within agriculture, to bring out the best that it can exist in this living nature for ourselves of Gaia, of anything and everything that exists on this physical earth. I am not a special person. I have dedicated my life and I have stayed awake since the age of 7 to the awareness of the relationship of visible to non-visible, human and non-human. Many of those earlier 30 years or more were very confusing for me until I was able to begin to apply a living nature to this relationship. Once I realized my awarenesses is how to live life, and the qualities that began to emerge in my life when I allowed myself to have this presence, and how the relationship between the visible and invisible constantly changed who I was at the moment, for the day, for a project, for whatever it is that I am involved in. I'm not the same person that said, yes, I will do this project, I will enter this relationship, I will enter this profession. I have to continually to grow and to sprout and to flower in a whole new way than the person that stepped onto the road or the path. That is so different than the way we think of manifesting or creating, because it's not a process of gathering of information from the invisible forces. There is such a vastness of information and perceptions and awarenesses, just as there is in human nature there is in the invisible world, and the layers and the nature of the living structures that are there is just as tangible. And this is what I'm showing you through many of the images between the breakthrough of the boundaries between the visible and the invisible, both in human and non-human form, and how that breakthrough in the boundaries is created through smoke, is also created through fire, and it is also created through wax and relationship to weather and the environments that are around us, helping us to communicate, to bring out the potential, not to eliminate all challenges, but to realize life happens. Challenges happen. But as a modern day indigenous soul, as a Homo Gaian, I do not have to suffer through the challenges or perceive my life as becoming smaller and limited, regardless if that challenge comes through my body, my mind, my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotions, the attitudes that I hold, that any challenge, any suffering, any limitations, regardless of what it is, from this collaborative living relationship between Gaia, the earth, and the heart that exists behind everything around us, brings out and changes me as the individual, so that I have a free will choice to interact and walk through my challenge, to walk through my difficulties, to walk through the sufferings that life has brought forward. For it is not that I've done it wrong, or I wasn't clear, or that I am being punished by something or anything or everything in life, but rather, life happens. And as a modern indigenous soul, as a Homo Gaian, I have the potential, I hold the awarenesses within myself to come into relationship and connectivity into Gaia, into the specifics that I need to explore in my day-to-day life, and suddenly I am a different person that doesn't resolve or conquer my difficulties, but rather I walk through them and I begin to grow a quality of my life and the quality of life for my community and my tribe in a way that allows all of us to come into a different way of perceiving, a different way of thinking, a different way of feeling. This is in the heart of each one of us. This is inherent in humanity, as it is inherent in any aspect of life that's around us. It makes no difference if I'm talking about the light that emerges from the stars, from the moon, or the sun, or the Milky Way, or the vastness around us, or from the light that comes out of the heart of the earth in its various forms and landscapes that are there. It comes through the wind. It comes through the waters. It comes through the soil, the rocks, the sand, the mountains, the volcanoes, the valleys, the forests. It comes through all living plants, all living animals, regardless of how they grow and where they grow. It's inherent in our technologies. It is inherent in anything that has been created and exists in the earth. It holds the embodiment and the potential of this life-generating force, which we call love, to flow through it and to alter who I am, to alter what the tribe and the community is endowed in, that allows a relationship of support and collaboration and partnership to exist. This is what I hope that I have shown you in this exhibit through these images and the brief dialogues that I've had around each one of these images that are here, to just begin to touch your awareness, your curiosity, in knowing there is so much more that Gaia, that our earth brings forward for us in its wholeness, between the living and the non-living, between the visible and the non-visible, between the human and the non-human forces. We are here at a time and a space of great potential, of great awareness, and great possibility, and I have great hope on where we are actually heading in the potential and the possibility, and I have great gratitude to be alive today, to experience and explore what it is to be a Homo Gaian, and what it is to live as a modern day indigenous soul.